We are live. So we're going inaugural Two Brothers podcast.
That's a nice one.
Two Bros podcast coming to you. I wouldn't say live, but we'll edit this up. But
Well, everything's like live at one point.
right, it happened. Which goes against quantum physics. Quantum physics says that it doesn't happen until you actually see it.
Wow, you're really gonna get into it, right? You really.
Well, we're gonna jump right into it. So, first and foremost, the inaugural. At some point, we're gonna have to hide all these labels and stuff because.
Well, hopefully we'll get to the point where we will have to hide labels.
Yeah.
Right now, nobody gives a shit.
Right now, nobody gives a shit. It's just two bros. You know.
Dude, we're already splitting the myth because we're two black guys in Nassau County drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon. So
yeah,
we didn't choose Heineken or we didn't choose Corona. Maybe go the other way and maybe Coke 45.
Could have went that way. We did that before.
Yes.
We've had some Coke 45 here at my party. But we're coming to you with just our opinion on a few things. There may be a little less scientific data to back up what we're saying, but most importantly, we're just kicking it. And we got a few drinks, and it's a lovely Saturday afternoon. It's about 2:40. September's here.
Yeah, I know. It came up. We got no
September's here.
choice. We had. It's gonna be interesting. I think we're gonna have one of those Indian summers.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to because fucking summer didn't do anything. I think we had like 1 week of where it was like, because you usually get like maybe 3 weeks of just like oppressive heat. When it's just really hot, when it's really humid.
Yeah.
And and it times down from there. But we didn't have that this summer.
I mean,
Like
it
here and
depends,
there.
right? It depends on, like, we went away, so we did a lot of going places, and different places had different weathers and stuff like
Right.
that. So we were fortunate enough to have a nice vacation season, which was good. Visited some crazy islands and stuff, and cruising. So as far as it being hot, like, summer doesn't bother me. Summer really doesn't bother me because you can take off, you can throw a
Right.
fan. You can
Right.
that cold, wet, snow and rain and all that other stuff. Actually, winter doesn't bother me either. It's just the elements.
Cold. I don't mind being cold.
Yeah,
I don't mind being wet.
yeah.
I don't want to be cold and wet. That's
At the same time.
I don't want those things.
Yeah, I kind of agree. With that. That's not a good combination. But in most, I don't want to say in most. Well, for people that live in New York, that's what you bargain for, right? I mean, New York is New York.
That's what it is. You want seasons. I mean,
Yeah.
I know people who live like out in like San Diego.
Yeah.
And Los
San Diego's
Angeles,
a nice town.
and they love it.
Yeah.
But they also they want seasons. They said they would love
Yeah.
to have like a change. They would love, and it sounds weird to us because we're like, oh, what? So 82 and mild pisses you off, But they say no. I would like foliage to change and that maybe some cold air to come in and change your style of clothes.
Listen, I could see where that
You know.
it comes in handy, and I guess if you didn't live here all your life, it probably is a little different. Some people get used to it, which is regular,
Right.
and then people that move here, what they call them, expats or something like that.
I have no
When
idea what they call it.
people move in from different places and live somewhere else.
If you live in a warm climate like Southern California or New Mexico,
Yeah.
but you own like a lot of plaid, does that make you an asshole?
It
Like,
makes
are
you-
you
no.
just one of those like ironic people that you're trying to like effectuate some sort of ideology?
No, it makes you a hipster. A fucking douchebag hipster. That is the term that is commonly being. The weird part is that it's the same classification for it all, right?
Right. What are you doing here?
It's
Just
yeah, I'm going there. It's plaid. It's the fedora.
let me know when I'm stopping.
You good?
No.
It's plaid, a fedora,
Okay.
and the mentality of those. I guess that class. I mean, I hate the class people, but everything's a class. But they're all just anti everything. Like any kind of establishment, they're anti. They just I'm anti this. Oh, we think we should have kindergarten classes. Oh, we're anti-kindergarten. We're anti everything that you come up with. These people somehow have a anti against it, and I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just saying that all right already. Like, I think we've all just gotten a little too sensitive with everything. You know, safe space. What is this? Safe space? Bullying and all this other stuff, and everybody wants to have their everybody wants their wish for their piece, like their own. They want to be recognized somehow, and I think, you think it's because of social media? You think it's
I think it's because of a lot of things. I think what happens is, well, right now what we have is like the generation below us is the first generation that I think it's like the first generation that kind of like grew up with like things like Facebook and stuff, and so which that was a pervasive form of like how they, you know, communicate.
right.
And so it's easy to take that platform and to segregate ideas to where, you know, the only thing you can hear or engage with are people who agree with you and people who love your pictures and love your ideas and everything. And you know, if you don't feel good, you put up something and then you get a couple likes and then, oh, you're starting to feel good about yourself and stuff. You know, there's actually there's actually a study that says that feeling you get when you see somebody that has liked your picture, it gives you the same dopamine response as
chemically.
Yes, it gives you the same dopamine response as if you've enjoying yourself with friends, or like you having a sip of alcohol or something like that.
Okay.
So in other words, it can become addictive.
So this has a biological reaction.
Yes.
There's some sort of chemical in your body, like you said, endorphins or some sort of adrenaline,
You get a rush out of it, and it makes you feel good. And so
I can see that.
When you feel bad,
no, I can see that.
You know, you go and do something. Let me put this up, and then you want to see some likes and stuff like that. It's starting to make you feel better, and you become addicted to that.
I can see where people go really extra for the likes. I mean, they go a little out of the way to make somebody like something.
Right. But then you project that to. You go off to college, or then you go into the workplace. Yeah. Where, you know, there's a vast majority of people who really don't give a shit about your opinion.
Correct.
And may think you're kind of fucking stupid.
Right. Kind of shallow. Kind of,
you know.
I think it's pretty shallow.
And then you get confronted with that, and then all of a sudden you don't know how to deal with that because you've never had to, you know, confront with that.
No, that's a real valid point because, I mean, you're talking about kids killing themselves over social media stuff and over being taunted and made fun of and so that's kind of like really dangerous, and I think the subhuman factor of it is really what people got to get a grip on. Is like for instance, you'll say to somebody, oh, I talked to so and so yesterday. You did? You spoke to him? No, we text. Well, that's it, fucking talking to someone. Oh, I text him, but in the reality of it is, you know, when the person re-asks you, did you speak to someone? Have you talked? In your head, you're thinking, yes, I did speak to them, but in reality, you didn't actually speak to them. So there is something there is something about the voice, someone's, you know, you hearing somebody. Yeah. Fucking birthday. I mean, shit. Call somebody and just say, hey, man, you know, thinking about you, happy birthday, etc.
We're all guilty of that.
Well,
we're all guilty of that to an extent. Like it's easy to shoot, just say, "Hey, happy birthday" and stuff like that. You know, rather than to call and say, because you know why? Because I think another thing that we're all afraid of is
calamar.
We're afraid of We're also afraid of rejection. And so
valid point.
By engage, like, you know, for me to engage in you, you can reject that.
Right.
You know, if I call you to speak to you, well, you cannot answer the phone, or you cannot be available to speak. And then now, now I have to deal with a certain level of rejection. You know,
so you're saying with a text or with some sort of
with a text, you didn't answer my text. I extended myself to you, and you didn't do that. But if you don't pick up the phone, Well, there was no way for me to acknowledge that. Hey, I did some
So
action.
you couldn't get it off. You couldn't,
Right, I
still
right,
couldn't get it off.
I couldn't put it off.
Right.
Even if I'm just doing it to just okay, I'll just call him to say happy birthday. I really don't give a shit about his birthday, but I'm gonna call to say so that I can say I said happy birthday.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could. Yeah, I think you're right. There's something to be said about that, but I don't know. I think everybody's a little fucking sensitive, way too sensitive for
Yeah.
issues. Please jump in if you want.
Oh, calamar.
Yeah,
Calamar.
and which
The rom-com
the
guys.
rom-com,
The rom-com guys.
romantic comedy.
Romantic comedy guys. Like that guy we met in that bar.
Yeah. Oh,
He was a rom-com guy.
we had the roommate or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, he was total.
That was a rom-com guy. That was the
rom-com.
safe
Yeah.
beta male to have around. Yeah.
That guy was a douchebag hipster. No, for sure. You know why? He said, what he said? He was totally thinking that the end of the world was possible
Right.
because of we're having too many people. Like
Right.
we're just. Now, this is a guy that if he had the power, could be dangerous.
Absolutely.
This is fucking dangerous. Like okay, there's too many people. People keep having kids. Okay, he would adopt or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
which is great, good for you. But fuck, man, like like he made it like apocalyptic
Right.
at a bar. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're at a bar and he made it apocalyptic.
Right.
Like, oh, it's just no end to it. And so when you asked him, so when?
Right. At what point? Right. At what point does it become? Do we become totally nihilistic?
Right.
Because if you're because he was calling himself a nihilist, and I said, well, if you're a nihilist, you think that there's no
Wait,
meaning in anything.
What does that mean? A
A
nihilist?
nihilist. You think everything we're all
Final.
gonna die, and so there's no point in any of this crap. So I'm like, okay, so if you believe that, then why are you here in this bar enjoying yourself with your friend?
Right.
You met us, and so we're having a great conversation.
Totally
and stuff like that.
unexpected. It was random.
We're enjoying ourselves. So then, how is this not? How is this?
This isn't doomsday.
Right. He's like, no, I'm enjoying myself. Okay, so then at what point does it become to the point where we can't take anymore? And you
Well,
can't
that's a
answer that.
fucking suicidal fucking mentality, man. I mean for him to be out and about at a bar, I don't think he was fucking suicidal. Like I think he was a poser. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
right. You can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both.
He
ways.
wants to have an opinion,
Right.
and it's quite possible that he can't sustain.
Maybe he just doesn't have the audience.
He can't sustain his own opinion, so he hops on something else.
I think it's very possible that he just doesn't have the audience. Like he just doesn't have the crowd to listen to him. So he becomes a seeker of the attention, and this is like a party trick. This is the lampshade on the head.
Well, he has to. If he's who we think he is,
Yeah.
then he has to somehow. He can't compete,
Right. Right.
which is why he's chosen that little niche where he can walk around with this fine British woman and then say, "Oh, I have no interest in her." I'm like, come on. Remember when I asked him? I said, "Okay, look,
Yeah.
you guys have had a few. You had a great night. It's 1:30 in the morning. You're heading home. How about it?
Sounds like it's gonna go for it.
20 minutes of your time ain't
Yeah.
working." He said, "Nope, never
Nope,
do it. We'd
never do it."
that." I'm like, "Oh,
Not even in the apocalypse. Not even
exactly.
At
Not
the
even right. Like this is it.
last...
The world depends on you."
Great movie, by the way.
Which one?
This is it. Wasn't
The
that?
one with Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
I saw that. That was hilarious.
With all the guys, all the stars and stuff, and yeah, man, that's cool. Like, I don't know, people just have to get their shit together, or not. Like that, I think we're putting too much pressure on everybody to have an opinion, or we're
okay.
I think we're just everybody's. Like, my opinion really doesn't matter. It's just an opinion, and if you're in the audience and you listen, it's here today, gone tomorrow. Like, while I think people care, I think they care only for the moment that they hear it. I don't
Right.
think they care beyond.
Right.
I don't think people go and, well, Chad said we should do this. I'm changing my life, and I'm gonna now wear blue. Whatever. So I don't think people care that much. They care for the moment of the conversation. when it happens,
Right.
because they have to then arm themselves with a response, especially at a social event like a
Right.
bar, pub, or people just out and about talking. So maybe that's what it is. But I don't think people just change their life on someone's opinion. Oh, damn, who said it? Like, what part of motivation would that change your life? Like, Trick Daddy can change your life, and if he could, you're fucked up. You're really fucked up if
Right,
Trick Daddy
right.
could change your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like, how much authority do you give? You give that. Okay.
Wasp, yeah, whatever the fuck, mosquito, real mosquito. I got some spray, but fucking go about his way.
Let him live.
Yeah, he'll live.
Mosquitoes gotta live too.
Yeah, they do. They serve a purpose somehow. That's why I just covered myself up, because I get bit up.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I drink enough alcohol. I thought they wouldn't bother me, but
Alcohol prevents you from getting bit up.
I think it's a myth. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me because I guess people associate, well, you get a cut. I mean, you get bit, you put alcohol on it. But what if I have alcohol in me? It's a stupid fucking. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid to even think of. But
It's a reach.
but at some way, it makes sense to somebody.
Oh yeah. Well, everything makes sense to somebody.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, if you can easily be changed, if your life can change from someone's opinion, it says more about you than it does the person giving the opinion.
Okay. So speaking about life changing,
Life changing.
you made a life changing decision
Yes.
a while ago when you decided that you were gonna be vegetarian
Yes.
or be predominantly vegetarian.
Predominantly
You have a slip
vegetarian.
up here and there, but that's
Yeah, yeah.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
So what prompted that decision?
Well,
And by the way, it's been a successful
yes.
decision because you've
It
lost a
has.
significant amount of weight.
I've
I'm
lost-
sure
I've
other
lost-
things have like your blood pressure is probably better and shit like
Well,
that.
36 pounds.
Okay.
I don't know what happened was and actually nothing happened, nothing cataclysmic or nothing life threatening. I went to my normal doctor. My blood pressure was sky high. I kept hearing about, oh, it's hereditary. You're African American. It's supposed to be high. Like,
He said that?
yes, he said, well, the chart even shows, African Americans and other like Asians or Caucasians, etc. And there's a certain separate scale for African American versus the rest of people that they measure you by. So 180 over 20, 120 or whatever for an African American is normal, but it's high for a white guy. This is true. You could ask the doctor or anything.
That's dangerous.
It's very dangerous. So it supports the myth that African Americans are inherently, have high blood pressure, which means smarter people than us have figured this out somehow and have, I guess, by case. Well, anyway, back to me, because I can't prove any of that. You know what I'm saying? I can't.
That was awesome.
Well, it would sound like a conspiracy other than that. So rather than it be a conspiracy, I said, hey, you know what? Here's what it was. They put me on blood pressure meds, right?
Okay.
And last year, they had me on a pill. I won't say the name for obvious reasons because it'll fucking medical suit or whatever. I even forgot the name of it. It made me cough.
Okay.
It made me cough to the point where I could have a conversation with you and I like a smoker, like a fucking bad cough. And then it started hurting my chest. Then I started getting pains and my stomach muscles were messed up. And I'd be in bed crying. We went on vacation and my wife is like rubbing me down with Vicks and all kinds of stuff because I'm trying to not cough. And lo and behold, I looked at the symptoms of the side effects of the thing, and it says, actually, your ex-wife told me.
Oh, really?
Kim told me.
Okay.
Funny enough, your ex-wife told me something that was worth looking into, and
she's good for something.
She's good for something, yes. And she said, "Oh, that pill is known for that makes you cough, doesn't it?" And I was like, I fucking my eyes lit up. I was like, "What? You know this? Tell me more." please. I was like, oh. And she was saying, she was like, no, this pill is known to give you a side effect that makes you cough. But it was some sort of combination. Like, it didn't just make everyone cough. It
Right.
made you cough if you had this and you had that and you had this and that. So you needed like 5 checkpoint
Right.
list things to fucking make you cough. So lo and behold, I went and found out, and I went and told the doctor, and I said, airplane. I don't know how that's going to play on the thing, but it is. Yeah. So I went to the doctor, told him, hey, you know, what's up with this? He said, okay, fine, I'll switch you. But in order to switch you, I have to switch you to a different pill, 2 pills. And I started going, well, wait, what the fuck? He says, yeah, but this one will only give you 10 milligrams, but this one will give you 5, and then together you get 20, and this. And I was like, damn. And he's like, yeah, for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, rest of your life, I was like, all right, this is kind of fucking bullshit. What can I do? And obviously the first thing he said, lose weight. He said, lose weight, exercise, and get more active. And I think because I live an active life, I accepted that as
That's
exercise.
part of it. Okay.
No, I accepted that as exercise. I said, hey, I move, I walk up and down buildings. That's regular. You know, going and pushing yourself and getting a nice sweat and burning some calories is different than just walking to work, you know.
Right.
Oh, 30
Okay.
steps to my office. Ooh. You know, you can't count that because your body becomes adjusted to that, and that's normal.
Right.
So you're not pushing yourself to
Right.
any boundaries.
So exert yourself. Exert yourself
Right.
for a certain amount of
yeah,
time.
Yeah. Even for 5 minutes out of the norm would probably be better than nothing, you know.
Right.
So I said, all right, let me go on let me change my eating. I started looking into the teachings of Dr. Sebi. Okay.
I know what that is.
Okay. Dr. Sebi is a doctor from Honduras who claimed to have cured cancer, AIDS, lupus, sickle cell, about any disease you could think of. He claimed that he
Okay.
could cure it. Posted an ad in the Village Voice, 1979. He was brought up for charges, and they said, you have to stop saying this stuff or else we're going to arrest you. You're a fraud. You're not even a doctor. Guy was a quack, like a herbalist.
Okay.
An herbalist. So he okay, whatever, and his mother tells him, hey, well, you better stop this. They're coming. You can't fight these people. This is big pharmaceutical. They're never gonna let you accept you for this, and you don't have the license. You don't have none of the accreditations.
Right.
He had none of the accreditations of Harvard he didn't
Right.
come from no school. He fucking studied in a Mexican shoppers market, like you
Okay.
know, found some herbs and talked to shamans and stuff like that, so they could perceive him as a quack. That being said, he went in front of the Supreme Court justice. Supreme Court took his case all the way to the Supreme Court. Represented himself, and he won.
Really?
You can look this up, people. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. He beat the Supreme Court because they told him, prove it.
Well, he didn't beat the Supreme Court. He beat the U.S. government. The Supreme Court just heard the case.
Yeah, Supreme Court heard
He
the
went-
case.
went
It
all the
was
way up to
so
the
it
US
was
Supreme Court.
U.S. versus
The US
him
government.
versus
Right.
Dr. Sebi.
And what were they saying? That he can't make the claims that he was.
Correct.
Okay.
They said you making illegitimate claims of curing incurable diseases.
Okay.
We don't have a cure for these things. And they told him that if for every disease you claim to have cured, you have to bring medical proof of this. And he did. And they said one of three. You need at least three people. He brought 70 people to court.
Wow.
70 people to court that have been diagnosed with AIDS,
Right.
herpes, all kinds of stuff, and then later after his treatment, no symptoms. Remission, right. Not to say that some of them now, to this day, I've just learned, some of them have gone back, they've slipped off, they stopped doing what he told them to do, and they're back, and the signs come back up. So they're saying, oh, you didn't do it, you just suppressed it.
Right.
But he says that's what Magic Johnson's doing, suppressing it.
Right.
And he's living. The idea is to stay alive, not to die.
Right.
So whether you have it or not, that's like saying, hey man, you got a dot on your forehead, you're gonna have that for the rest of your life is over. No, your life's not over. You just learn to live with a dot on your head.
Right.
So that's his concept. Is like, you don't have to die from it. You could live from it, and it doesn't have to be super expensive to live on it with all medicine and drugs. So he treated Michael Jackson. He treated Prince. He treated Left Eye. Notice I'm naming all people that have died.
They're dead.
Dead. So again, the conspiracy in me goes the other way. You asked.
I didn't ask. No.
The conspiracy goes the other way, and he's dead now, by the way.
Okay.
Dr. Sebi died. Died in a prison in Honduras, in his own country.
Why was he in prison?
He was in prison because he came back across the border with about $70,000 worth in cash for his village. So he has a village called the Usha village in Honduras.
Okay.
And the Usha village is where Left Eye is. And if you go watch Left Eye's final moments or whatever, the final last days of Lisa Left Eye.
That's where she stayed.
She stayed there to clear herself out,
Right.
and she was in his village and whatever else. And she revered off the road. You see it in the camera and everything else.
Yeah,
and
she hurt somebody
flipped
killed
her,
somebody.
killed herself and people in the car. I mean,
No, but what didn't she?
Oh, Andre Rison. Remember, she burnt his house down.
Well, yeah, that's that. But didn't she?
Oh, she killed a boy.
Wasn't she also? Wasn't she in a previous incident?
She
in
killed the
which-
kid in the
Right.
car. She killed the kid running
Right.
across the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
In Honduras.
Right. And then she had, then she ended up having an accident that ultimately took her life.
The irony of it, right?
Right.
So
but previously, okay, 'cause that's what I remember. I remember seeing some of it, and I remember seeing her dealing with the fact that she killed somebody and that she was trying to communicate
Yes.
with the family. That
yeah, and the family accepted her. Actually, she paid for the kid's funeral.
Right.
She paid for the funeral. The family was grief stricken, but they understood it was an accident. It was a real accident.
Right. Right.
Kid ran out in the middle of the road.
Mhm.
So ironically, she dies by the same road that she killed someone on.
Right. Okay.
This is good, Baba.
I hope so. Hope so, because it's gone. All right. So Dr. Sabian.
So Dr. Sebi,
Sabi, excuse me.
Sebi, yeah, Sebi. His whole teaching is about ridding the body. He said all disease lives and can only live in an acid environment.
Okay.
There's no disease that can survive in an alkaline, body,
environment. Okay.
right? So naturally, we were alkaline. You know what I'm saying? The energy of alkaline is like when batteries used to be alkaline and they weren't acid batteries. You used to distill water in a battery and it was alkaline. That was when alkaline batteries were normal until they froze and stuff like that. So they had bad effects. So it wasn't until we started converting to acidity and putting the acid level in our body that we get all these things like cancer and all these other things. They're just rotting, burning cells, just sitting in a corner. He said, imagine if you leave a piece of meat in the corner, it just decays and rots, and all it does is flies. Then this comes on it, and it just mold, and everything else builds on it. But if you had a vegetable or a piece of something, nothing. You could
So his treatment involved with changing the pH balance of your internal body.
And the one thing in the Usha village that he was pronounced that, although the water was filthy, it was dirty, it had a high pH value, and you could drink it. And it
had a high alkaline.
It had a high alkaline water. It
Okay.
was dirty in look, and if you saw it was brown, it was murky and but the testing of it was phenomenal.
Clean water.
So he claims that we're all plants. We grew just like plants grew. We grew from the sun, photosynthesis, and we developed, and we're just higher evolution of plants. Okay, so we don't need meat to live. We need light, sun, water, and other greens and nutrients. So he says that there's no food inside what we call food. There's no
Nutrients.
physical nutrients inside of them. And you could get all of those things from certain plants.
Right.
Okay.